Good afternoon, and welcome to the Subcommittee on Landmarks. At this time, we ask you please silence your phones. Thank you for your cooperation. Chair Lewis, we are ready to begin.
Good afternoon. I'm Councilmember Farah Lewis, Chair of the Committee on Landmarks, Public Sightings and Dispositions. I am joined today by my colleagues, Council Members De La Rosa, Feliz, Ong, Marte, Nurse, and Bacher. Today we will vote on the Lirio project we heard last month after a hearing on the item subject to call. I now recognize the Subcommittee Council to explain today's hearing procedures.
Thank you, Chair Lewis. This meeting is being held in hybrid format. Members of the subcommittee are required to meet in person. Members of the public who wish to testify may do so in person or via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to testify via Zoom were asked to register for today's hearing. If you register to testify and are not yet signed into the Zoom, please do so now and remain signed in until after you have testified. If you wish to testify via Zoom and have not registered, please do so now by visiting the Council's website at www.council.nyc.gov/land-use. That's LANDUSE. If you have written testimony that you would like the subcommittee to consider in addition to or in lieu of appearing before the subcommittee, please send it by email to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov, landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Please indicate the LU number or project name in the subject line of your email. Lastly, there may be extended pauses. If we encounter any technical problems today, we ask that you please be patient as we work through these issues. Chair Lewis will now continue with today's agenda.
Thank you. On June 14th, the subcommittee held a public hearing on the Lirio 806 9th Avenue project proposed for Councilmember Bacher's district. The project consists of 5 related land use actions, all subject to ULURP, to facilitate the construction of a 9-story mixed-use development containing 112 permanently affordable dwelling units, approximately 67 of which would be supportive housing for long-term HIV survivors, along with commercial and community facility space. At our June 14th meeting, 36 witnesses appeared and offered testimony on all ULURP applications associated with the project. To satisfy a prerequisite to voting for 3 of those items at the June 16 stated meeting, the Council adopted a resolution pursuant to Sections 197 DB3 of the Charter calling up City Planning Commission decisions on application numbers C220221, ZSM C220222, PPM, and C220223, PQM, which were introduced as LUs 75, 76, and 77. Those items are on today's calendar, even though we did hear testimony on them on June 14th. I now open public hearings on LUs 75, 76, and 77. All witnesses will be limited to 1 minute. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify?
We're checking whether to see there are any remote witnesses.
All right, we have 1 remote public hearing, public testimony.
Do we have John Smallwood available to testify remotely? John Smallwood.
Good afternoon. Bear with me for a second. You should see my video.
Starting time.
Thank you. My name is John Smallwood. I'm a resident at 349 West 54th Street. I live across the street from the proposed project, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I have just 3 quick comments. One is, living directly across from this project, I really feel like there's been a lack of community engagement. There has been no approach by the developer, the supportive housing provider, or by MTA to any of the residents, immediate residents, or businesses. There's a feeling that there's been just a lot of things happening behind the scenes with HPD and the developer that really haven't been shared. So that's number one. Number two, I would like to see the site developed. It's been vacant for a long time. Certainly support affordable housing, but the uses that are proposed for this project it's really a supportive housing facility, not affordable housing. There's a clear distinction there. So I just, we should be cognizant of that in reviewing your application. And the reason I bring that up is I don't think I've ever seen any.
Time expired.
Thank you, John. Council, is there any other members of the public that wish to testify?
Chair, we're going to confirm that there are no additional remote witnesses, and we will just pause briefly here to confirm there are no witnesses on site.
Councilmember Bottcher would like Mr. Smallwood to finish.
Mr. Smallwood just complete his thought, if that's okay.
I don't know who's controlling the, okay. Mr. Smallwood, if you would like to finish your testimony?
Can you hear me now? You good? Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay.
You can continue.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So my last comment has to do on a big part of this project is there's a special use permit. This project wants to pierce the existing Clinton district, the height restrictions or height provisions of that. So there is a special use permit, and my question or comments are that it doesn't appear that they analyze all the properties. If you read the CPC findings, they only analyze the MTA Center and the Ford buildings behind. Under a special use permit, you should be reviewing all the surrounding area. So I'll leave it at that. I also would add that they note that MTA is going to have 125 employees. I really would love to see the data behind that. Or if I were reviewing this, I would want to know, from terms of environment, how are you introducing 125 people to this site? In addition to the existing MTA headquarters. And here again, I'm not against the project, but I just feel like there really hasn't been a lot shared with the community, or if I were reviewing this application, that I would want to understand how these decisions were made. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smallwood. Seeing no other members of the public wish to testify on LU 75, 76, and 77, the public hearing on these items is now closed. I now recognize Councilmember Bottcher to offer remarks.
Thank you so much, Chair Lewis, and thank you to my colleagues. Today, we're voting on a project that will provide much-needed housing for low-income New Yorkers, formerly homeless New Yorkers, long-term formerly homeless survivors of AIDS, and also moderate income housing. This is a product of many, many, many meetings and discussions and countless phone calls over many years. This project has been on the table for a very long time, and today we've come up with something that I think is a great project that brought in a lot of input. We were able to get more units of moderate income housing included in the project. We got space, commercial space on the ground floor for a grocer. And we were able to get Stephen Stiles Farmers Market, the right of first refusal for a portion of that ground floor at below market rent, to be discussed more when the building's finished. But Stiles Market was destroyed by a building collapse a few years ago in the neighborhood. We've been trying to get Stiles reopened, so we're able to hopefully have him in this building. Would be a great addition to the neighborhood. The design of the building was the subject of much discussion. It started out in a much more brutalist design that did not fit the context of Hell's Kitchen, and we went as far as meeting on site with brick samples and we're much closer with the design, but there's a little more work to do. So the applicant has agreed to meet with us again in the next month to discuss the design more and finish refining it. And they're also going to erect a mock-up of the facade in the lot. The operations of the building, Hudson will have Lisa Management be the property manager of the building as a whole. Hudson will, Housing Works rather, will manage their 59 units of supportive housing. The building will be managed by Lisa Management. And we worked, we had many discussions about how to ensure that for the supportive units for long-term survivors of HIV and AIDS, that we really try to find those formerly homeless individuals with a connection to Hell's Kitchen, their last known address, familial ties in Hell's Kitchen, medical providers. So they're really gonna work with us and make a real concentrated effort to help serve the formerly homeless long-term survivors of HIV and AIDS in Community Board 4. The zoning was a concern and is a concern because this is in the Special Clinton District in Hell's Kitchen. And if you look at the skyline of Manhattan, you'll notice a low-rise area in Hell's Kitchen. And that is a sacrosanct thing for good reason. And this is, you know, we're doing a rezoning in the special district. And one of the proposed zoning actions was to rezone that whole block from residential to commercial because there's going to be commercial office space in this new building on the second floor. We were able to get that limited to only this zoning lot, and there were a number of text changes proposed that we were able to get changed favorably, working very closely with Community Board 4. And we're also, we have a letter from the chair of the City Planning Commission, Dan Garodnick, making it crystal clear that this in no way will create a precedent for other zoning actions. These are just some of the things that we've been working on in this project, in addition to getting a community advisory board. So I really want to thank my staff, my Chief of Staff, Sean Coughlin, my Community Board 4 liaison, Jordan Feiner, and community liaisons of the past that worked on this as well over the years. I want to thank City Council Land Use, Chelsea Kelly, Andrew Lassiter, and just in the last few days, I want to thank Paris Strader in his first 2 days on the job. He's been in the mix on this. And then all the staff at the various city agencies, the City Planning Commission and HPD, and Community Board 4, who we had many, many conversations with up until an hour ago. We're reviewing the commitment letter. And to all my colleagues for all your help and support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Hopefully you're prepared not to be a land use chair one day after everything you went through. With the support of the local council member, we will now vote to approve the modifications pre-considered LU 73, an application for an amendment to the text of the zoning resolution to create a new special permit and a new section 96-112 of the zoning resolution. Our modification would create the new special permit on section 96-104 and add conditions to the special permit to further limit its application to the project area. We will also vote to approve with modifications pre-considered LU 74, a zoning map amendment to replace portions of an existing R8 and R8/C1-5 district with a C6-2 district. Our modification would reduce the size of the proposed C6-2 district. We will also vote to approve related LU 75, 76, and 77. I would like to reiterate some comments that the CPC made about this application with respect to concerns from the local community board. While it's true that the preservation area sub-district within the special Clinton district has not had a rezoning from a residential to a commercial zoning district since its inception. We agreed that it's appropriate here to accommodate the unique site conditions in order to facilitate this development for 100% affordable housing. I want to state for the record that the support of this rezoning with our proposed modification does not signal an attempt to erode the primary goal of the Special Clinton District to preserve and strengthen the residential character of the community, and should not set precedent nor signal to the development community, to propose similar rezonings in other areas of the sub-district. Council, please call the roll.
Chair Lewis.
I vote aye.
Councilmember Feliz.
I vote aye.
Councilmember De La Rosa. Councilmember Marte.
I vote aye.
Councilmember Nurse.
Aye.
Councilmember Ung.
I vote aye.
Okay, by a vote of 6 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions, LUs 75, 76, and 77 are approved, and preconsidered LUs 73 and 74 are approved with modifications. All items are recommended to the full Land Use Committee.
Congratulations, Councilmember Botcher. That concludes today's business. I remind you that if you have written testimony on today's items, you may submit it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Please indicate the LU number or the project name in the subject heading. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, and land use staff, and the Sergeant at Arms for participating in today's hearing. This meeting is now adjourned.